It affects every single aspect of your life. I feel like you've lost control over your voice, over your body. You remember that feeling deep inside you and it just bursts out. Like a water bomb, like crashing onto somebody, that's what it feels like. It's been just over 18 months since the assault. At the start of the night, I was at my friend's 30th birthday / engagement party, and it was the first Friday, everybody was back at work. We ended up back at my house and we all continued drinking there. Nobody knew who this person was. She had met him at the pub where we were earlier on in the night. Like, he seemed really lovely, he was really nice. Like, he was having chat to everybody. He was black and like we're all obviously black, like most of my housemates. He was a student from the US. And then at like some stage of the night, he fell asleep on my bed. And then I felt really bad for him. I was like, oh, poor dude. Like, I just let him like sleep there, like closed my bedroom door, and then I fell asleep on my couch because I was like, I'm not gonna sleep in a bed with a stranger. I was like really, really drunk. I remember like falling asleep on the couch, and then after that, I don't remember what happened. Like, I don't remember how I even got to my bedroom. And I woke up to him sexually assaulting me. He was on top of me and he was penetrating me, and I was just laying there. Just saying, do you love this big? Yeah. And I was just, like, I just remember that, and I just remember like his drool going down my throat. You think your body will react in a way, you'll in a sense fight like straight away. But I just felt so helpless. I just lay there and I couldn't do anything because my body just wasn't catching up with my brain, like what was happening. It was just like a dream that was like a nightmare. I just remember like moving my body, which felt so heavy. It felt like there was like a weight on my chest stopping me from getting up. He said that I had consented, and he said I was awake the whole time. Like, in the state that I was in, I was not able to consent. I pushed him off me and I kicked him out of the house. It took me a few days to realise what had happened to me. I was so angry, like angry at him, but then I felt like I was more angry at myself. I felt embarrassed that I had put myself in that position. I was just asking myself, did this actually happen to me? Was this real? So I called up the Victorian sexual assault line. That was the first person that I had told was them. One of the reactions I got from one of my family members when I'd called them was, were you drunk? And then I was just like, this is just too much. And when they make a decision to be like, oh, were you drunk when this happened? They have taken responsibility from that person who done that to you and put it completely on you. They told me really in depth about what he'd said, and he'd said that I'd wanted it. And the police officer just kept telling me that me and my girls need to look after each other, and if you're gonna go out, don't get too drunk. Like, that was one of the most traumatising things, was dealing with the police. I wouldn't go to police really, like, I just don't think that as an Aboriginal woman, like, they don't do much. And the one time I believe in this so-called justice system, it fails me and it blames me for what happened. You can be in a room full of people and you can still feel so deeply alone and feel like you're in a deep, dark corner by yourself. Yeah, it's just the reality of the aftermath of that, because in a sense that you can't see the light. You just wonder, when are the flashbacks gonna stop? When will that feeling of like not trusting anybody stop? when we're questioning yourself and blaming yourself, stop. Like, there's just so many layers to that. Hello. Consent and sex was never spoken about in my family because it was a taboo thing. Even at school, I never learnt about consent, and I really wanted to share my experience because I wanted my own narrative to be shared. Aboriginal women, or just women in general, get sexually assaulted by people that they know and people that they're partners with or people in their families. And nobody really talks about consent and sexual assault.
I suppose back in them days, things like that happened a lot. You always heard about things happening a lot. Everything was brushed under the carpet back in those days.
Do you still think it is?
Yeah, of course it is.
I don't think women should be ashamed. I think that's something that should be spoken about in our community, especially in our community.
I've spoken about an issue before about like how I grew up religious. Do you reckon that affected our sex ed?
Dad is not one to talk about things like that.
I feel a lot better that I have spoken out about it in the last 6 months about my experience. I've been able to tell my story.